the button.
Yeah.
Recording. Right, man. There we go.
What have we been
watching? Oh, we should do little jingles. Oh, just that was it. That was the jingle.
So anyway, moving away from anime, also got some good films as well. So Acts of Vengeance, starring Antonio Banderas. So interesting enough, directed by direct-to-video action director Isaac Florentine. So I've seen some of his stuff in the past. He did a lot of the Undisputed sequels, and he also did Close Range with Scott Adkins, which I've watched recently, and it was one of the better Scott Adkins films. So I think this is one of the first films that he's directed where he's actually had proper actors involved. So the two big, well, there's three big names. Antonio Banderas, Carl Urban from Dredd, he was in the new Star Trek. Robert Forster from Jackie Brown. I think like the script was written before Antonio Banderas got attached. Because Antonio Banderas, it's a revenge film, obviously, Acts of Vengeance. His wife and daughter get killed.
No!
Exactly. And
You're looking for me to be the next one.
he takes a vow of silence, which will only be broken when he kills the people that killed his family. That's the kind of thing you do when you know that your lead stunt/action guy is good with the kicking and less good with the talking. Yeah? I mean, we've all seen those films where it's the strong, silent type because they're...
I don't want to talk about it.
But they've got Antonio Banderas doing it, who's legitimately a good actor.
Yeah.
I think he's hit that period of his life, though. I was saying to Jim earlier, he's now become the Latin Liam Neeson. So he's done a few of these direct-to-video, low-budget action films now.
I think he could do it, though. He
was good. He was good. Acts of Vengeance is really good. I mean, there's this like montage bit in the middle where he plays this lawyer in the start, and it's all about oh yes, the average person speaks 80,000. The average person speaks 20,000 words. I was a lawyer, so I spoke 80,000 words. They were my weapon. And then he takes a vow of silence, so he actually has to make his body his weapon. So there's this sequence in the middle where if they didn't fake, and I don't think they did fake. Antonio Banderas, he's getting ripped, man. He's working out.
Don't look out for these roles.
Yeah, I think he did.
Never seen Liam Neeson with this top off, did you?
No.
I will find you after this Haagen-Dazs. Is it big budget?
It's not big budget.
Is it not? It's not high action, high octane.
No, it's a very kind of like
thriller,
low. It's not like they're jet setting around the world or anything along those lines because it's a revenge flick. It's very much about these characters.
Death Wish, more like Death Wish kind of.
That kind of thing. Well done. Yeah, I mean they got some decent actors. I mean Robert Forster, to be honest. You can tell he's like, I'm here for the day. Carl Urban does a really good job in it as well. And you're kind of like, guys, you've been in proper films. You're doing this. The action stuff is really well handled. I mean, one of my criticisms of Close Range, which was a Scott Adkins one, which I think is on Netflix actually, is it was like the fight scenes were padded out. So, like if you got, imagine there's a shootout. So there's the guy shooting, there's the guy getting shot at, and then, copy, repeat, and they did that too much. Without even changing the angles. It's the same two setups, and you're just cutting back and forth. That was the problem with that. That is not the problem with Acts of Vengeance. Acts of Vengeance, really well done, very clear, with enough, wide shots where you're like, Antonio.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess with you. No, I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, I like a lot of Isaac Florentine stuff, but it was an interesting mix to see him working with actual actors. But it was weird then to see Antonio Banderas play a lot of the film mute, and it was just like, because he's got a very distinctive voice, isn't he?
Sometimes that does require a lot of acting ability. Surprisingly, maybe to some, but I mean to project without speaking.
But it is typical, isn't it?
It's that is a good way of hiding.
A lot of times, the stranger walks into a town and either he's mute or he's got amnesia, so the only thing he needs to do is look confused, which most actors can do. So but with real actors. Yeah. So I would recommend checking that out. I think it's coming out streaming early April and then out on DVD later in April. Definitely worth a watch. Similar, Liam Neeson could have been cast in it, but too low budget. Was Lies We Tell. So this was a UK film set up north with Gabriel Byrne in it. Harvey Keitel, again, kind of in...
Is he living in the UK?
He
must be. He must be used to it.
Dodge, maybe.
I just can't wait to Harvey Keitel adapt some kind of northern accent, you know.
No,
he was
playing American, thankfully. He won't play northern.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, Lies We Tell, interesting one. It's had a lot of comparisons to Get Carter and Stormy Monday because, you know, they're also up north. To be honest, it's a lot closer to a Bob Hoskins film from the 80s called Mona Lisa. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
So in that, he plays the driver of like like a mob boss type character, and he drives around like the mistress. That's in Mona Lisa. This one, Gabriel Byrne is the driver for Harvey Keitel, who's this philanthropist. You know, he's going to be a good guy or whatever. But when Harvey Keitel dies early on in the film, so no spoilers really, and hence, you know, being able to get Harvey Keitel for a couple of days. Yeah, I mean, although he can't do too much, can he? Because, you know, he does those direct line, I think it is, car insurance adverts.
Good adverts, yeah.
Other car insurance things are available. So anyway, Harvey Keitel bites it, and Gabriel Byrne gets like a message from him saying, "Oh, I need you to clear up some business." So he's got this shag pad where he's got a mistress and everything like that, who's Muslim, and that's a whole other thing.
Oh, okay, it's an interesting dynamic.
So this is a bit, yeah. So it starts off like a 21st century Mona Lisa, and then it kind of flips to he has this relationship with the girl, the mistress, and it's all about then, you know, her family, her culture, and you know it's got too many pieces. Gabriel Byrne, kind of doing, I'll flash up the UK poster, very much the Liam Neeson, you know, him, gun,
in black,
grayscale, and it very much ends, it's not a spoiler, but it very much ends like The Grey, you know, where it's just Liam Neeson like shouting at some wolves. It's pretty much that, but like a low-key version of that. It's a good film. It's just got too much stuff going on in it. You know, like the main plot, and I'd even say the stuff with like the Muslim families and, you know, them accepting and everything. Okay, but then there's like 8 other plots vying for attention.
So what kind of genre is this then?
I'd say it's British crime.
British crime, yeah.
But it's got a lot of character stuff in it, which the performances are good, you know. So it doesn't feel like, you know, oh god, this bit's terrible. It's just it diverts from the main thrust of the plot.
Yeah.
It's like it could have been this or it could have been that, but it tries to hedge its bets.
Yeah.
But Lies We Tell, yeah. So I think that's out about middle of April.
Out of 5, we should do a score actually. So out of 5.
I don't do scores, mate.
Ooh.
And then one other one I saw, which I really wanted to like, was a film called Pie Wacket.
What an interesting name. Is it a...
Pie Wacket.
So what is that?
What do you think it is?
Whacking pies.
No. Pie Wacket is spirits, demon kind of thing, from mythology. I got mixed feelings about this one. I really wanted to like it. So the basic premise of the film is teenage girl is having a tough time with her mum after her dad dies. So it's got that family drama stuff. Laurie Holden, I think. So Andrea from Walking Dead. The daughter is also with her teenage friends into like black metal and occult and all that kind of stuff. This is the bit where it gets a bit 80s cheesy. Being a horror fan of the 80s, I kind of forgive it now because it was very much of its time. In the 80s there was the Satanic Panic, right? Where, you know, Judas Priest were leading everybody astray by putting hidden messages in reverse.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
And you kind of go, okay, to do that in the 21st century, you kind of need to play with that a bit, and it's pretty straight ahead. So she does a ritual where she's just kind of like, oh, I hit my mum, and then bad stuff starts to happen. So the first 40 minutes, there's no supernatural stuff involved at all. It talks about the fact that, you know, they read like these like trashy non-fiction books about, you know, the occult and stuff like that, and they go to a book signing and all that stuff. And that stuff is like, because the actors are really good, it's fine. Then when it gets into like the supernatural dimension, it's just so by the numbers. So, you know, she does a ritual, bad stuff starts to happen, and then the end is, oh, or was it all in her head anyway? And you kind of go,
yeah, not much different there than from...
Haven't we moved on from that? And again, it goes back to like almost like the slasher thing where it's like, you know, take drugs, have sex, and you deserve to die. You know, it's very puritanical. And it felt like that a bit. It was just like, oh, you know, if only she found God, or, you know, hadn't done that, listened to that nasty black metal stuff, then...
Stop blaming the music! I mean, typically, I'm a nice guy.
It's a well done film, but it just kind of... The horror elements, when they did kick off, were very brief, not very well done, to be honest.
Do you think they should have kept with just being a drama?
Yeah, but then there wouldn't really have been much of a point to the whole
thing. It's been a mental case.
It's okay. It's okay. Like I say, the performances were great. The character stuff is really well done. I mean, the mum is proper grieving, and so is the daughter. And the mum says stuff which, you know, like as a parent, when you're in a bad place, you say stuff and you wish you hadn't said. She says that stuff, and you kind of watch it and you're like, ooh!
It's gonna hurt, Mom.
Yeah. So that stuff is really well done, and it feels really raw, you know, and you kind of go through the motions with the characters. You really feel what they're going through, and then like how she deals with her friends and stuff like that. How she kind of dabbles in occult and black metal and all that. That I get that as well, and that stuff's done quite well as well in terms of, you know. It's her new family, you know, so they're all into this thing or whatever. It's just then, you know, what happens after that, you know, the consequences of getting into that lifestyle. And I was just like, really? Are we doing that still? It felt very much like, you know, in the 80s there was that like special, the Phil Donahue, who was like the American guy, you know, about, you know, Satanism at your teens.
I think Marilyn Manson was on it, wasn't he?
Probably, yeah. And it felt like we hadn't moved on from that, and I kind of feel you can do that. Deathgasm did a really good, more tongue-in-cheek thing. Have you seen Deathgasm? Yeah. You know, and again, but it never kind of turned around and said, oh yeah, it's them kids and they're black metal and they're, you know, black t-shirts doing it all. So I would definitely say watch it, but it slightly rubbed me up the wrong way. Because I just, you know...
Out of 5?
It's fuck you. Alright, I'll tell you what, we're going to go edit some Little Monsters, so...
Yay!
Go extend yourselves.
Bye.